Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, planet. What a beautiful morning it is. Every single morning. In the land of legality, where I find myself in the Netherlands, I take my medicinal marijuana for my managing chronic pain condition. And another big part of managing chronic pain or any condition is trying to look introspectively at things in your life, your experiences, that then become your perceptions, then can become feelings and emotions that can make you take paths or choices that you may find out in life have only ever added to experience. And I was listening to Tom Hardy interviews last night, and he was talking about the movie he was in, Bronson, Charles Bronson, playing Charles Bronson, Charlie Bronson. Alright, son. I can't do a very good English accent, but I'll try. The interviewer was asking him, did you build up a relationship with Mr. Bronson? And he was like, yeah. Said he gave him his phone number. He said, but Charlie Bronson would call him and call him and call him, and leave lots of messages on his answer machine. Where are you? I've been looking for you. And he says one day, about the 18th call or so, he picked up the phone and he said, and Charles Bronson is saying, oh, I got you, son. Got you now. I got you now. He said, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? And Tom Hardy starts to speak in the interview very open and honestly, saying that he has just been through a breakup and was finding it very difficult to let go of the woman that he fell in love with, and lots of process and stuff, working things out that he'd been repeating the same process in his life, and relationship hadn't been working out, and thing that he'd been projecting things from his mother onto other relationships and stuff, and he'd all this stuff in his mind, and he's like to himself saying, you know what, I'm going to tell this guy this stuff. So he describes it all to Charles Bronson, saying he's having a really tough time, he's down, he's sad, he's finding it difficult to let go. And Charles Bronson says, Tom, son, Tom. He says, do you remember the floods? And Tom Hardy's like, what? He says, the floods, son. He says, do you remember the floods in England? And he's like, yeah. He says, do you remember one time where that boy, he get his foot stuck underneath a fence, and they had to try and come and free him, and the water was rising and rising and rising. And Tom Hardy just doesn't know where he's going with this, and he says, yeah, Charlie, I remember. And he says, eventually the water got so high, and they couldn't get him out, and he drowned. And Tom Hardy's saying, yeah, I remember that, Charlie. Charlie Bronson says, well, do you know what, son? That wouldn't have happened to me. Do you know why? And Tom Hardy's saying, no. He said, I would have told him to cut it off. And you know something, Tom? In life, sometimes what you need to do is cut a little bit of yourself off to continue to grow. And Tom Hardy says in the interview, wow, this man is dope. Such meaningful and deep advice from someone who has had, notably and well recorded, a very violent and a scattered lifetime. And that deep psychological message where we could maybe all find ourselves in relationships, at the workplace, with friends or family, with yourself. If you do feel at any time that something is stopping you growing, you know what? Cut it off. Cut it off. This is senses of awareness and realization of your own intuition. You must listen to what you say to yourself. And if you feel you ain't growing, yeah man, cut it off. Tom Hardy interviews Charles Bronson. There's a few online. It's quite an old interview, but wow, I thought it was fantastic. Vibe on, vibe up. Plant positive seeds. So I think grows right. Yeah man. Yeah man. Peace.